Hello, this is the lecture number 4 for the chapter Trigonometry of class 11th, and in the previous lectures we have discussed the formulas and the derivation of the formulas. Now we'll discuss the exercises. In exercise 3.1, somewhat easy exercise. In the question number 1, you have to convert the degree measure to radian measure, though you know that how to convert the degree measure to radian measure by multiplying it by pi upon 180. So but this angle is minus 47 degree and 30 minutes, means this is the angle is in clockwise and it is 47 degree and 30 minutes. First of all, convert this into degree. So how can you convert into degree? By dividing 30 minutes by 60, because when we convert smaller angle to smaller unit to greater unit, it divided by 60, because in 1 degree we have 60 minutes. So divide by 60, you will get 47 1 upon 2 degrees, which is minus 95 upon 2, and to convert into radian we multiply by pi upon 180 and you put the sign C, which is the sign for the radians. So it will be minus 19 pi upon 72 radians. Similarly, here we have 11 upon 6, question number 2, first part, 11 upon 16 radians. You have to convert this into the degree measure. So multiply by 180 upon pi. When we have to convert the radian into degree, we multiply by 180 upon pi. So this comes out to be this. The pi, put the value of pi here, which is 22 upon 7, convert into mixed fraction. And because 3 upon 8 is less than 1 degree, so you multiply 3 upon 8 by 60 to convert it into minutes, and it is 39 degrees. And again, this is this is not a whole number, so you convert into the mixed fraction, which is equal to 22 1.5. So it comes out to be 22 minutes, and half is less than 1 minute. So multiply by 60 to convert into seconds, which is equal to 30 seconds. So 11 upon 16 radians comes out to be 39 degrees, 22 minutes and 30 seconds. This is the method to convert the degree radian measure to degree. If it is not a whole number, convert into minute. Then it is not a whole number, convert into second by multiplying by 60. Similarly, let us take another part in which minus 4c radian, which is the angle in the clockwise. So multiply by 180 upon pi to convert into degrees. Replace the value of pi as 22 upon 7, which comes out to be this. Convert into the mixed fraction, which comes out to be 229 degrees, and 1 upon 11 is less than 1 degree. So multiply 1 upon 11 by 60. So which is again, it is not a whole number. Convert into mixed fraction, which comes out to be 5 upon 11. 5 is 5 minutes, and 5 upon 11 is again less than 1 minute. So multiply with 60 to convert into seconds, which will give approximate value as 27 seconds. This is approximate value. You can not convert into the smaller, or we don't know the conversion from second to smaller unit, to leave the answer as approximate. Now question number 3, it is given that in 1 minute a wheel make 360 revolutions, and you have to find the angle made by that wheel in 1 second. So we know that in 1 revolution a wheel make an angle of 2 pi or 360 degree angle at the center of the wheel. So the number of revolution made in 60 seconds is equal to 360, which is given. So in 1 second it will make 6 revolutions, and we know that in 1 revolution it is a 2 pi radian angle or 360. So in 6, the angle made in 6 revolution will be 2 pi into 6, which will be equal to 2 pi radians. In question number 6, there is a circle of radius 100 centimeter and length of the arc is 22. You have to find the angle made by this at the center of the circle in degrees. Now when we use the formula of theta is equal to L upon R, we 22 upon 7 will get, which will be in radians, but we have to convert this into degree measure. So multiply by 180 upon pi, which will give the angle in degrees, and put the value of 22 upon 7 for pi, will get 63 upon 5, which is not a whole number. You convert into the mixed fraction, which gives 12 degrees, and 3 upon 5 less than 1 degree. To multiply by 63 upon 5, you will get 36 minutes. So this is the angle made by the circle of radius 100 centimeter and length of the arc is 22, which comes out to be 12 degrees and 36 minutes, which will be in degrees. You have to find the angle in degrees. Now in question number 5, it is given that there is a circle of radius 20 centimeter and you have to find the angle length of the arc made by this circle at the center. Length of the arc made by this triangle. Now because radius 20 and the chord length is equal to 20, so this comes out to be an equilateral triangle, and when we know the equilateral triangle, the angle is 60 degree. So this angle AOB will be equal to 60. Now because we have to find the length of the arc, then we have to use the formula of theta is equal to L upon R, where theta must be in radians. So first of all, convert this 60 degree angle into radians, which we know that 60 degrees is equal to pi upon 3 radians. So replace the value of theta as pi upon 3. Length of the arc we have to find. Radius is 20. So length of the arc comes out to be 20 pi upon 3 centimeter. Whenever you are using this formula, theta is equal to L upon R, theta here is in radians. Now question number 6, it is given that there are two circles of length of the arc are equal and they are subtending an angle of 60 degree and 75 degree at the center. You have to find the ratio of their radii. So I have taken these two circles, let the length of the arc L1 and L2, which is given as equal, be L. Now angle is in degrees, 60 degree and 75 degree. First of all, convert into radians, because when we use the formula theta is equal to L upon R, we must have the angle in radians. So 60 degree convert into radian by multiplying pi upon 180. Convert 75 degree angle into radians by multiplying by pi upon 180 degree. So these are theta 1 and theta 2, the angle at the center of the two given circle. We know that theta is equal to L upon R because you have to find the ratio between their radii. So R1 will be equal to L1 upon theta 1, R2 will be equal to L2 upon theta 2. And because you have to find the ratio between their radii, so divide these two left and right, you are getting R1 upon R2 is equal to R1 upon R2 is equal to L2 upon L1, or simply replace the value of L1 as L, L2 as L, theta 2 we know it, theta 1 we know it here. Replace it, simplify, L will cancel out, you are getting as 5 upon 4, which is a ratio between their radii. Main thing is you have to convert first of all the angle into radians, because whenever you are using the formula theta is equal to L upon R, you have to convert the angle into radians. And using the formula theta is equal to L upon R, find the value of R1 and R2 and find their ratio. In question number 7, it is an easy question. You have to find the degree major at the center, a pendulum which make at the center of length 75 centimeter. That is, the pendulum length is 75, and when the length of arc it makes 10 centimeter. Now the radius is 75, length of the pendulum will be considered as the radius of circle, because a pendulum will make a in full revolution an imaginary circle. So length of the pendulum will be 75 centimeter, length of the arc 10. Using the formula theta is equal to L upon R, you will get the angle made at the center in radians. So first exercise, somewhat easy exercise, in which we have used the formula theta is equal to L upon R, or the conversion from degree to radian and radian to degrees. In exercise 3.2, we have the one of the trigonometric ratio is given, and it is given that the angle lie in which quadrant. And in the previous lectures, we have discussed in which quadrant which particular ratio, trigonometric ratio, is negative or positive, and you know how to convert the one trigonometric ratio to another by trigonometric identities we have done in class 10th. That is question number 1. It is given as cos x is equal to minus half, where x belongs to third quadrant. It is given, it can be come like that. Thus x is greater than lying in the third quadrant, greater than 180 degree and less than 3 pi by 2, that is degree major, third quadrant, like this. So from cos x you can easily find sin x, which is equal to under root 1 minus cos square x. I have put the negative sign because in the third quadrant sin x is negative. So this is the value of sin x minus root 3 by 2, because it's lying in the third quadrant. Now tan x can be obtained by dividing sin x with cos x, which comes out to be positive because both are negative, or rather it is in the third quadrant, the tan x is positive. Cosec and sec and cot can be obtained by reciprocating the value of cos x, sin x and tan x. So this is the method to find the remaining trigonometric ratio if one of the trigonometric ratio is given. Let us take one or two more, and I'm taking the question number 3, which is given that cot x is equal to 3 by 4 and x belongs to the third quadrant. Now from the cosec you can easily find cosec x, because we know that cosec x is equal to under root 1 plus cot square x, and it will be negative because in the third quadrant cosec x is negative. So replace the value of cot, you will get the value of cosec x is equal to minus 5 by 4. From this cosec x we can easily find the value of sin x, which is equal to minus 4 upon 5, which is the reciprocal of cosec. It will be also negative because in the third quadrant. From sin x you can easily find cos x, which is equal to under root 1 minus sin square x, and it will also be negative because the third quadrant cos also is negative. So this is the value of minus 3 by 5 is the value of cos x, and from these three you can easily find the value of tan x, cosec x, sec x, and considering the quadrant in which they lie, there will be negative or positive. Let us take another question number 5. Tan x is given and x is belongs to the second quadrant. So naturally in the second quadrant tan x is negative. So from the tan x you can easily find sec x, which is equal to under root 1 plus tan square x. Negative sign will be there with the second quadrant, sec x is negative. So this is the value of sec x, but minus 13 upon 12, and from sec x you can easily find cos x, which is the reciprocal of sec x, and it will also be negative because in the second quadrant cos is negative. From the cos you can easily find sin x, which is equal to under root 1 minus cos square x, which will be positive because in the second quadrant cos sin x is positive, and by reciprocating the value of the above you will get the remaining trigonometric ratios. So this is some questions we have discussed of exercise 3.2, and we have discussed the exercise 3.1 in this lecture. We'll continue in the next lecture. Thank you.